Hello and welcome. We are so glad that you have found the time to come and watch this, our latest video upload. Warm Marble, Part 1. This is an article we found in public domain, public access. The Lethal Physique of Bruce Lee, King of Kung Fu, by author John Little. If you're talking about combat as it is, well then baby, you'd better train every part of your body. Bruce Lee from the Lost Interview with Pierre Botten, 1971. There's an anecdote that has endured some 23 years concerning the muscles that adorned the physique of the late martial arts pioneer and philosopher Bruce Lee. It concerns a lady named Anne Clouse, the wife of Robert Clouse, who directed Lee's last film, Enter the Dragon, for Warner Brothers. It seems that she had ventured onto the set and was mesmerised by Lee's incredible physique as he choreographed the fight scenes, stripped to the waist and perspiring under the hot Hong Kong sun. Between takes, Anne approached the young superstar and asked if she could feel his biceps. Linda Lee was on the set, so I wonder how she felt, what she was thinking. Maybe she was okay with that, used to it. Sure, Lee said, responding to a request he'd received on numerous occasions. He tensed his arm and invited her to check it out. OMG, she exclaimed, drawing her hand back instantly. It's like feeling warm marble. It's fascinating that more than 2 decades after his sudden death in July 1973 from a supposed cerebral edema, people are still talking about the physique of Bruce Lee, although it is by no means surprising. Even more fascinating is the fact that almost everyone gets something different out of Bruce Lee. Martial artists revere his physical dexterity, power, speed, and the genius he displayed in bringing science to bear on the world of martial arts. Moviegoers are impressed with the man's animal magnetism and the fact that he single-handedly created a new genre of action film, opening the door for the Stallones and Schwarzeneggers who followed in his footsteps. Philosophers, on the other hand, are impressed with Lee's ability to bridge the philosophical chasm separating East and West and synthesize the best aspects of both cultures, Eastern and Western, Chinese and foreign. Even so, there's another pocket of humanity that sees something else in Lee. Bodybuilders, young and old, know from one quick glance at his physique exactly how much labour went into its creation, and they are very impressed. Bodybuilding luminaries like Flex Wheeler, Sean Ray, Rachel McLish, Lou Ferrigno, Lee Haney, Linda Murray, and Dorian Yates, that is to say, the best in the business, all pay homage to the impact Bruce Lee's physique had on their bodybuilding careers. Some may find this difficult to believe. After all, Lee was only 5'6", 5'7", and checked in at a weight that fluctuated between 126 and 145 pounds. What could a behemoth like Dorian Yates, for example, see in Lee's physique that would inspire him? The answer, in a word, is quality. We have seldom seen, shy of a jungle cat, the incredible quality of muscle displayed by the martial arts superstar. Unlike the physiques of many bodybuilders, Lee's muscles were not simply for show. To quote his first student in the United States, Seattle's Jesse Glover, Lee was above all else concerned with function. Leaping 8 feet in the air to kick out a light bulb as he did in the movie Marlowe, landing a punch from 3 feet away in 500th of a second, or catching grains of rice that he had thrown into the air with chopsticks, were feats Lee trained his body to accomplish. These things he did, according to the people that knew him. So who was out there saying that his 1-inch punch was fake? They're fake. He proved it was real. He proved he had that power. James Coburn, John Saxon, Jim Kelly, etc., by hitting them with it and sending them like 12 feet across the room. John Saxon ended up like breaking his chair his favourite chair, and that's all he was really concerned about, and so forth. So there's examples from these people, these celebrities, these students that trained under him, that he had this power, he had that ability. Bruce Lee, during his famous Lost interview, referred to his self-actualizing philosophy as the art of expressing the human body. Perhaps never before or since has such an incredible confluence of physical attributes come together in one human being. He combined lightning fast reflexes, supreme flexibility, awesome power, and feline grace, or that like a cat, and muscularity in one complete and very lethal package. Furthermore, his physique was balanced and symmetrical, and while not everyone admires the massive musculature of our Olympic contenders, everyone admires the total package that was Bruce Lee. The fact that he influenced so many champion bodybuilders is no small accomplishment when you consider that Lee never entered a physique contest in his life. He wasn't interested in becoming massively muscled. As Ted Wong, one of Lee's closest friends and most dedicated students, recalled, Bruce trained primarily for strength and speed. The physique came almost as a byproduct of the training. Those who met him, from Hollywood producers to his fellow martial artists, said that Lee's muscles carried considerable impact. Taki Kimura, one of his closest friends and the best man at Lee's 1964 wedding, observed that his friend was never loath to remove his shirt and display the results of his labours in the gym, and he often did it just to see the reactions of those around him. He had the most incredible set of lats I'd ever seen, Kimura related, and his big joke was to pretend that his thumb was an air hose, which he'd then put into his mouth, and pretend to inflate his lats with, he looked like a damn cobra. Lee's physique remains an ideal simply because it featured what many considered the perfect blend of razor sharp cuts, awesome muscularity, great shape, and onion skin definition. The muscles that bulged and rippled across it were thick, dense, well chiseled, and above all, functional. Danny Santo, another of Lee's close friends and the man Lee chose to impart his martial art of Jeet Kune Do, which translates into English as the way of the intercepting fist or foot, to students at Lee's Los Angeles school from 1967 to 69, added that his friend was only interested in strength that could readily be converted to power. And he recalls, I remember once, Bruce said, Bruce and I were walking along the beach in Santa Monica, it's Muscle Beach, out by where the Dungeon, a gym originally owned by famed Muscle Beach denizen Vic Tannell, used to be, when all of a sudden this big, huge bodybuilder came out of the Dungeon. Santo related. He said to Bruce, man, look at that arms on that guy. I'll never forget Bruce's reaction. He said, yeah, he's big, but is he powerful? Can he use that extra muscle efficiently? Power, according to Lee, is demonstrated by an individual's ability to use the strength developed in the gym quickly and efficiently for real-world purposes. His feats of strength are the stuff of legend, from performing one finger or thumbs only push-ups to supporting a 125-pound barbell at arm's length in front of him with elbows locked for several seconds, to sending individuals who outweighed him by as much as 100 pounds flying some 15 feet through the air with one of his famous 1-inch punches. There you go, there's the proof there. From Danny and Santo, his closest friend and student in JKD. So he sent someone as much as 100 pounds flying some 50 feet through the air with one of his famous 1-inch punches. The power that he possessed at a body weight of 145 pounds was absolutely frightening, not to mention some of his other nifty habits like thrusting his fingers through full cans of Coca-Cola and sending 300-pound heavy bags slapping against the ceiling with a single side kick. Strength and his acquisition were Lee's primary concerns in his weight training, and eventually his weight work evolved to the ultimate limits of intuitive knowledge, what some in our business, or the muscle business, refer to as instinctive training. According to those who worked out with him from time to time, such as martial arts actor Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee may pound for pound have been one of the strongest men in the world. Lee's road to weight training. Certainly his background in physiology and kinesiology imbued him with the ability to discern a useful exercise from an unproductive one, as he was able to avoid wasting time in his workouts. Lee believed that the student of exercise should aim at nothing less than physical perfection, including great strength, quickness and skill, exuberant health, and the beauty of muscular form that distinguishes a physically perfect human being. To Lee, the secret of success in bodybuilding lay in the word progressive, but he also recognized the importance of another word in the vocabulary of physical culture: persistence. Lee was nothing if not persistent in his quest to express the full potential of his body, given the physiological fact that a stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. It was only natural that he would in time come to appreciate the superior health building benefits of bodybuilding. But it took a violent encounter to bring home the merits of a regular and dedicated approach to progressive resistance training. According to his wife Linda Lee, her husband was preparing to teach a class in San Francisco one evening when the door to his school flew open and in walked a group of Chinese martial artists led by a man who was their best fighter and designated leader. Linda, who was 8 months pregnant with the couple's first child, Brandon, recalled that the leader presented Lee with an ornate scroll that issued him an ultimatum in bold Chinese characters. Either he stopped teaching Kung Fu, the Cantonese version of Kung Fu. This just basically means hard work. So it could be master of Kung Fu and something like the medical profession or something else. He wasn't allowed to teach non-Asian students anymore, or he would have to fight right then and there with their top man. Lee disdainfully handed the scroll back to the leader. "I'll teach whomever I choose," he said calmly. "I don't care what colour they are." While such non-racist views are generally applauded today, in San Francisco's Chinatown of the mid-1960s, teaching Oriental secrets to non-Orientals was perceived as the highest form of treason among the martial arts community. Though Lee had many virtues, it is well known among his friends, family and students that suffering fools patiently wasn't one of them. By his words and demeanour, Lee effectively threw the gauntlet back at the feet of his would-be challenger. A fight immediately broke out, and in a matter of seconds Lee had the previously bold and self-righteous Kung Fu expert running for the nearest exit. After considerable leg work, Lee was able to throw the man to the floor and extract a submission from him. He then tossed the entire group off the premises, cursing them out in Cantonese. To his shock, however, Lee discovered that he'd expended a tremendous amount of energy in the altercation. He was surprised and disappointed at the physical condition he was in, Linda said. Although it took all of 3 minutes, he thought that the fight had lasted way too long and that it was his own lack of proper conditioning that made it such a lengthy set too. He felt inordinately winded afterwards. He was out of breath, etc. It wasn't up to his physical peak. This fight caused Lee to thoroughly investigate alternative avenues of physical conditioning, and he concluded that he needed to develop considerably more strength in both his muscular and cardiovascular systems if he was ever to become the greatest martial artist of all time. Knowing that the muscle magazines were the only existing source of health and strength training information at that particular time, Lee immediately subscribed to all the bodybuilding publications he could find. He ordered courses out of the magazines and tested their claims and theories. He frequented second-hand bookstores, purchasing books on bodybuilding and strength training. including one written by Eugene Sandow titled Strength and How to Obtain It. We believe we have covered that video, so we can put that as an end screen for you to have a look at. Just simply click on the link and watch it. Or click on the video and watch it. This was originally published in 1897. He's been nicknamed the Bruce Lee of the 1800s. His hunger for knowledge was so great he purchased everything he could get his hands on, from hot off the press courses to backlist classics. No price was too high for knowledge, particularly if applying it resulted in an increased strength, power and muscularity.